Welcome to Hef's Beer Reviews. Today I'm reviewing another beer from Reub Goldberg Brewing Machine, and this one is their Kolsch, coming in at 4.6%. Before I start the review, I have to say I'm a big fan of the Kolsch style, and for the life of me I really can't understand why more Australian breweries don't brew a Kolsch. It's a style that is really well suited to the Australian climate. It's something that's a little bit different. Rather than brewing just another plain old citrusy pale ale, why not brew a Kolsch instead? If you are watching this and you haven't had a Kolsch before, then I highly recommend that you get out and try one. If you're not sure where to start, there's not actually that many of them around, as you can guess by my preceding statements. So the easiest ones to get your hands on, if you go to somewhere like Dan Murphy's, you should be able to find Four Pines Draft, which is a Kolsch. It's not the best one going around, but it's not bad. Colonial do a Kolsch, that's pretty widely available as well. If you are more into your craft beers and you're willing to put in an order direct with a brewery online, or you might be putting in an order through an online retailer like Beer Cartel or Craft Cartel, then I would recommend you check out Brewbacker Kolsch by Badlands Brewery in Orange. Foghorn Brewery in Newcastle also do a Kolsch, and those two beers actually have been reviewed recently by fellow Australian beer reviewer on YouTube, Jez Beer Reviews, so check those out. Apart from those two, the Illawarra Brewing Co. down here in Wollongong, they do a Kolsch, which isn't bad. That's about all that spring to mind actually off the top of my head. Quaker's Hat actually is another one from Brookvale on Sydney's Northern Beaches. They do a Kolsch, which isn't bad too. I'm sure there are others out there, but they're just the ones that I have tried. So anyway, on to this one. Reub Goldberg, like I said when I reviewed their Aussie Lager, small brewery down here in the northern suburbs of Wollongong. They don't package any of their beer. It's only available on draft or through their swap and go or home delivery growler service. I use the latter. Like the old milk bottles, you put your empty out in the morning, and then sometime during the day the beer will be delivered, a new one full of your chosen brew which you ordered online. I must say this is actually the third night that I have drunk out of this one, so I'm expecting that the carbonation won't be quite as strong as it was on the first night, but it should still be okay. Certainly for drinking, it's perfectly fine. So we'll pour it out. Okay. So typical Kolsch appearance. I'd say it's a straw colour, maybe light golden. We've got a nice fluffy white head. As I said, the carbonation is not quite as strong as it was when I first opened the growler. This is the third time it's been opened, so it does lose a little bit each time, like a bottle of soft drink, if you imagine, if you haven't used a growler before. The aroma. Yeah, really nice aroma on this one. One of the things that I really love about a Kolsch is the balance in aroma and flavour. I think that it's one of the best styles for having the balance between the malt, the hops, and the yeast. All three components are present in the aroma and in the taste. So yeah, I can smell a bit of yeastiness, a little bit of spice. I can certainly smell the malt a little bit wheaty, and you can smell some hops too. I'm not sure what hops they have used in this one, but being a Kolsch, you would assume that it's a noble German hop. All right, let's have a taste. Cheers. Okay. Yeah, look, this is one of my favourite Kolsch beers, if not my favourite. As I said, it's a really nice balance in flavours between the malt, the hops and the yeast. There's a bit of that wheaty zing to it. There's also a little bit of biscuit coming through, a little bit of spice from the yeast, which if you are a wheat beer drinker, a Hefeweizen drinker, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the clove that you get in a good Hefeweizen, but without the banana, and a little bit of hop presence as well, but no bitterness to speak of. It's exceptionally refreshing and drinkable. It's very light without being watery, and at 4.6%, definitely something you could session. Now, I know that traditionally Kolsch is drunk actually out of a very small glass, but I can imagine drinking this beer in particular, but probably any Kolsch really, out of a big 500ml or 1 litre stein, to be honest. Oh, it's just so easy to drink, but it still has, it's quite delicate. It's really light in the mouth, but it's still got those nice flavours, and it's not light on flavour, even though it might be a beer that is light in body. So I really am enjoying this beer. In terms of a score out of 5, look, it's not the best beer that I've ever drunk, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the style, for me it's definitely a 5 out of 5. As I said, it's one of the best Kolsch beers that I have tried, Australian or overseas brewed. If you are a macro lager drinker, then it's not something that's going to scare you off. It's a little bit different, but I think it's still approachable enough for a macro lager drinker. If you're a hardcore craft beer fan and you haven't tried a Kolsch, then I'm not sure what you've been doing with yourself, to be honest. But yeah, there's enough in a Kolsch, I think, to interest and please a craft beer drinker as well, even if you're someone who's into really hoppy beers, like New England IPAs or double IPAs or anything like that. So big thumbs up for the Kolsch from Reub Goldberg Brewing Machine, and a big thumbs up for the Kolsch style in general. As I said, if you haven't tried one, get out there and get your hands on one. Cheers.